I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. Lent begins with Ash Wednesday. In biblical tradition, ashes refer to a feeling of humility, particularly before God. Covering the head with ashes was an external sign of the attitude and feelings of one who recognizes his unworthiness before God, expressed his repentance. It shows the recognition of one's own sin and penance, or it was in sometimes related to pain and mourning. There are many references in the Bible about ashes. In chapter 3 of Genesis, versicle 19, God tells Adam, "With the sweat of your brow you will eat your bread until you return to the earth, because from it you were taken. You will know that you are dust, and to dust you will return." Ashes is a symbol of mortality. After the disobedience of Eve and Adam, we become mortals and will return to the dust from which we were created. To begin the preparation for Lent, the Church invites us to place ashes on our foreheads to remind us that we are mortal. That is why the priest says, "Dust you are, and dust you will convert." Or another formula is, "Convert and believe in the gospel." The length of Lent is based on the symbol of the number 40 in the Bible. In it, we talk about 40 days of the flood, 40 years of the Jewish people march through the desert, 40 days of Moses and Elijah on the mountain, 40 days that Jesus spent in the desert before beginning his public life, 400 years that Jews stayed in Egypt. In the Bible, the number 4 symbolizes the material universe, followed by zeros means the time of our life on earth, followed by trials and difficulties. The practice of Lent dates back to the 4th century. The Gospel speaks of a time of Jesus' solitude in the desert immediately after his baptism by John. He was driven by the Spirit into the desert. Jesus remained there without eating for 40 days. He lived among animals, and the angels served him. At the end of this time, Satan tempted him 3 times, trying to test his filial attitude toward God. These 3 temptations recapitulate the temptations of Adam in paradise and those of Israel in the desert, and Jesus rejected them all. Therefore, the devil departed from him until a certain time. During Lent, Ash Wednesday, and Good Friday are days of fasting and abstinence. Fasting applies to people from 18 years of age to 59 years of age. In the case of abstinence, it refers to not eating meat every Friday and is mandatory from the age of 14. Lent is a time to ask for forgiveness from God and our neighbors, but it is also time to forgive all those who have, in some way, offended us or done us harm. We must forgive first and without the need for anyone to ask for forgiveness. Let us remember, as we say in the Lord's Prayer, that we must ask forgiveness from our Father, but first we must have sincerely forgiven others. Forgive us our debts as we forgive others. The ash is not a magical rite, not a special protection. Ashes symbolize sin, the fragility of man, and our need to get closer and closer to God, aware that with God we always win.